11th, 2020, and this is 55th stream of live coding with me, Matt Groves. And today we're going to do something that sounds relatively simple. We're going to make a to-do list program. And not just any to-do list program. We're going to follow this specific kind of framework, guidelines, showcase, something called To-Do Backend. So we'll learn more about that today. But we're going to be building this with ASP.NET Core, C Sharp, and Couchbase. You know, the standard kind of stuff that I use a lot. And but we're going to be using, I think it's going to be REST endpoints. We'll be defining HTTP, REST, however you want to call it, endpoints today. So we'll see how that goes. And the end goal is to check this into a repository and have it part of the showcase. But I don't know if we'll get that far today. We'll see. All right. And if you're joining in the chat, joining for the first time, watching this on YouTube, asking questions is fantastic. So do not feel like your question is not advanced enough or your question is stupid, because I don't agree with that at all. So ask questions, join in the chat. We can go off on tangents here. We can have some fun. It's totally fine. Just don't be afraid to ask questions. This is a safe place to ask them. And I love them. So ask away. All right, what else? Time for some plugs. Let's get some plugs in. So Team Live Coders, I'm actually wearing, I can't really see it here, but there it is, my Live Coders pin. Because I'm on Team Live Coders. Not a great view of it. There, here. Let's have another one. Put it closer to the camera. Has the Live Coders logo on it. There's the pin that they sent me. And I don't have it on, but my jersey's right over there. Anywho, this is a Twitch team of people who do all kinds of live coding. Looks like C Sharp Fritz either just joined, just started, or just ended. So I'm going up against him, which is fine. There's lots of options here to explore. That's the whole reason I'm plugging this. Check out all these awesome streams out here. And those are all people on Twitch. What else we got? Awesome developers streaming list. GitHub/BNB/awesome developer streams. And hasn't been updated in a while, but it's a huge list of people who are streaming, what they're streaming about, and where they're streaming. This is not just Twitch. This is all kinds of places, all kinds of topics, all kinds of time zones, things like that. So we'll go on here and look for myself again, because I'm Matthew Groves. I do a lot of database, back-end stuff, .NET, ASP.NET, C Sharp, Couchbase, SQL, NoSQL, all that kind of good back-end goodness. I'll occasionally dip into the front end, but only if I have to. All right, and you can dip into my catalog of old videos of past episodes by going to bit.ly/Groves. The link's also down here at the bottom of the screen. And again, just fair warning, that might change sometime soon, because I may be going to sort of simulcast this stream on the official Couchbase channel. Got to work those details out, but a lot of events going on right now, so I kind of want to just leave that alone for now. I'll revisit that in a few weeks. But you can check out old episodes there, and feel free to, if you're watching this right now, if you're watching an old episode, ask a question. If I didn't cover a topic, or you don't want to have to dig through, an hour stream, whatever, to get an answer to a quick question, leave a comment, ask a question. There is no such thing as a stupid question. I'm not going to get mad at you for asking a question that I already answered in the previous episode. It's totally cool. So ask away. I've answered the same. I've answered the same few questions here, dozens of times in the stream. But I'm going to go to an event, which will be the next thing I plug here, this week, and an event next week. And I'll be answering the same exact question there, probably 400 times. Same few questions, so that's fine. I'm okay with that. I mean, that's what I like to do. I like to go and talk to developers and answer their questions and learn what they're up to. So that's totally fine. TwitchBot is still off. Got to figure this out. I don't know what's going on here. I've got some problems with Docker Compose locally, so I may just take this TwitchBot out of Kubernetes, stick it into a regular Azure VM. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. There's also some cool stuff happening with Couchbase Cloud. It was just announced. It's kind of in an early beta preview. But I probably want to, for my own purposes of sort of dog fooding and learning about it, is move the chatbot onto the Couchbase Cloud as soon as I can. Now, it's not really like, turnkey available to everybody just yet. That's going to be later this year. But for my own purposes, when I get ahead of the game, I might switch this from Kubernetes over to Couchbase Cloud. We'll see how it goes. Upcoming events. Yeah, Developer Week. That's this week. I'm leaving tomorrow morning, and I will be out there in the Bay Area for the rest of the week. I'll be back on Saturday, so no stream on Thursday. At the same time, JetBrains webinar, I'll be taking part in this, presenting this at 10 a.m. Eastern U.S. time. That's 7 a.m. Out in the Bay Area time, and I don't know, what is that? 10, so like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, something like that, European time, somewhere in that range. And then the week after that, I'll be going down to Atlanta for Dev Nexus. And then there's more events coming up. A lot more. And I think there's even more beyond this that I haven't listed yet. Oh, there is one I need to add. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, I don't know exactly what I'll be presenting yet. In fact, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to make this public, but it'll be fine. Let's see. I'm just looking for the link on the other screen here. Here we go. Yes, this is March 21st. March 21st? Oh, gosh. Okay. SQL Saturday, Cincinnati. March 21st, 2020. So I'll be speaking there in Cincinnati on March 21st. The last SQL Saturday I went to was really a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to this one as well. I just browsed Twitter real quick, and I kicked off a whole thread right before I started about racks. Anyone heard of racks before? Anyway, sorry. Get a little distracted. Okay, so events, and now, all right, let's get on to today's stream. We're going to be working on a TODO site. Well, kind of a site. We're working on a backend. And so this is something I came across recently. I forget where or why I came across this, but there's this site called todobackend.com. And I think it's inspired by this other TODO MVC project, which is kind of a comparison of all these different JavaScript frameworks. But the idea here is to showcase backends and all the different ways you could build it and examples of how to build it and all the different combinations, right? So you can see all the different technologies that are tagged, and then you can see actually all the implementations here. So let's say I was like, oh, I want to see an example of a Perl backend. Well, there's 3 different examples here. This is one using Catalyst. This is one using PEF Front. This is one using Modulicious. I don't know what any of those are. But now, if I wanted to learn about them, I could view the examples. I could run the specs. Sometimes these work. Sometimes they don't. Yeah, it's supposed to run a series of tests. And it may just be that these are not working anymore. But anyway, the idea here is it's a way to sort of have a relatively simple idea, to-do list, right, that contains most of the basic CRUD operations that you'd expect that, that make up, depending on your application, a large portion of what your application does. So this is a good way to kind of try to compare apples to apples and say, well, if I wanted to go with a PHP example with SQL, MySQL, for instance, what's that going to look like versus like a CouchDB example using Ketura, or a C# example using Nancy, for instance, right? And a lot of C# in here. Well, not a lot, 8. So then, of course, this is open for people to contribute. Let's untag here. So what we can do today is try to work towards this. And there's a specific spec that you have to follow. I think you have to follow in order to be added to this project. And so we're going to try to follow that spec. We're going to build a backend. Once we get the spec figured out and can start running tests, it shouldn't be that hard to build a backend using ASP.NET Core just some JSON endpoints, I assume, with Couchbase as our data store. And then we'll submit to this project. So that's it. Let's figure this out. So it's pretty simple to implement the TODO backend API. The entire API consists of about 5 distinct operations. So create, view, modify, list all, and delete. So there's your standard CRUD. Drive the implementation out with tests. The API is defined using a series of automated tests. You can point the test suite at any URL you want. So I assume that even means localhost. We'll see about that. And it will attempt to verify that the URL correctly implements the API spec. The tests are intentionally designed in a kata-like structure. So if you're not familiar with katas, it's a concept from martial arts that's kind of been borrowed and applied to coding as well, kind of a instructional sort of rote exercise. Getting the first test to pass is the start of your journey implementing the API, and each subsequent test should lead you further towards a fully functioning implementation. When all the tests are passing, you have a fully compliant TODO backend API implementation. Okay, and so we have to enable cores. All right, so normally you want to be very careful with cores, but in this situation, cores make sense because we want to expose our back end to a front end. We're not actually creating the front end. The front end's already made for us. And we also want to run a test suite against it. So enabling cores allows that test suite and the back end to make requests across from different domains, which can be sometimes risky depending on your application. So it's really not a default behavior. So we're going to have to enable that. I forget what cores actually stands for. Cross origin request something. Cores. Cross origin resource sharing. Okay. Both the TODO backend web client and the TODO backend specs themselves will be running JavaScript from a different domain. Yep. Okay. And then the one where your API implementation will live. Right. That means that your API implementation will need to enable core supports by including a couple of custom HTTP headers and responding to the relevant options HTTP request. Now, I think with ASP.NET, it's just a relatively simple thing for us to just like enable cores. I'm not sure about that. We'll find out. The automated spec tests are designed to guide you towards implementing cores correctly. Additionally, you may find these resources helpful. Okay, fine. And then get your implementation listed. So we're not there yet, but let's look here. Here is the specs. So I don't know. Let's just see what happens here. We can just start just straight up with nothing, and we'll see where it goes. So ASP.NET Web Core Application, ASP.NET Core Web Application, C#. Yep. Okay. And we're going to call this TODO Backend. Okay. And solution name is fine. Yep. Okay. And we're going to do API. So RESTful API 3.1. That sounds good to me. HTTPS. I don't know if we need that. So let's just keep that off. And we don't need Docker. Yeah. This is a to-do list. It's not going to store or transport anything sensitive. So just keep it as simple as possible. Okay. And so I have this. When you do this file new, it gives you like this sort of fake weather forecast thing out of the box. And so there's that. But let's see what happens if I plug in. Hey, it's Bhaskar. Good morning, Bhaskar. How are you? How are things today? Okay, so I run those tests, and it looks like it actually did reach it. So that's good. I'm getting a lot of errors, of course, because I didn't actually implement anything yet. But this is sort of the nature of what they're describing. This is the kata nature. So we got to actually look at the instructions here and see if we can't get this test to pass. So this says the API route. That would be not the weather forecast, but this one right here. This is the route. It's giving a 404. Response to a get. The server is up and accessible. Course headers are set up. So first thing I need to do probably is create a. Well, I mean we can keep this, but I'm just going to change this to like TODO controller. Yeah, fine, whatever. Okay. And then, most of this stuff is going to go. All of this stuff's going to go. And I think I can just set up a route here. Public, let's just say action result. Home. And this isn't going to do anything. It just returns an OK. Okay. And let's see what happens. Weather forecast is gone now. This is returning an OK. So then, do I just refresh this? Okay. Browser failed making AJAX request. Okay, so, I mean, we got to enable cores. How to enable cores. I've done this before, but it's been a while. So let's only go through the docs here real quick. ASP.NET Core, all right. Yep. Okay, so yeah, something like this. Services, add cores. And then use cores. So back over here in the startup, we'll say services.use. This might be a separate project actually. Let's see. Add cores, not use cores. Oh no, there it is. All right. Okay, and this is saying specific origins. I'll just let anybody access it. That's fine. And then app.use cores down here. .use cores. Whoops. Before endpoints, I think. I don't know if that matters, but I'll put it in there. Okay. Clean up some of that stuff. All right. Let's try her again. See if we have any. Keeps going that weather forecast URL. Okay. So it's just not responding. It's been blocked by cores, so it's still cores is the problem. All right. So one other thing I want to change while I'm at this is, where is this? Launch settings. Right now it's going to weather forecast. I just want it to launch to nothing. Okay, and then why don't I just have it turn a blank object just like just a hello world JSON response. Just so I can see that in the browser. Okay, there we go. Fine. All right, so the core stuff's still not working. So apply cores to all endpoints. Use routing, use cores, use endpoints. Yeah. I don't need any authorization. Use routing, use cores, use endpoints. Okay. Cores can be enabled for all controllers. Oh, there's an enable cores attributes. Default policy. So I'm just wondering what the default policy is. Or, when I don't specify anything, like I've done here. Hey, it's Calvin. Yes, we are back to .NET, trying to figure out cores. It's been a while since I've done this. This has got to be a .NET Core. Allow all cores, just like I shall be of zero help, says Calvin. All right. You have to configure. Oh, there we go. Yes, I remember this now. where you have to specify, I'm going to say allow any origin, allow any method, allow any header. Not a great policy, but for this, it should be totally fine. Let's see if that works. Okay, and we'll refresh this, and we're still getting failed tests. Okay. Oh, I can put this on. So maybe I put something like this on here. Enable cores. Try this again. Okay, we got a passing test. All right, so that's good. We can just do this, but I kind of want to just say this is the default policy for anything. Default policy. This creates, okay, add default policy. And then I just pass the builder to that. Okay. And then I can just comment this out. I don't need that anymore. All right, and a refresh. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, that's exactly what I want. Don't recommend this in production for like a real app, but basically what I've done here is I've said, here's my default cores policy, is any origin, any method, any header is allowed, and then turn on cores. And you generally don't want to do this because this allows other websites to make requests to your websites from, say, JavaScript directly, which could be a possible security issue. So that's why this is turned off by default. But it's also something that browsers enforce. So technically you could turn it off in the browser, but that requires the end user to explicitly do that. And this is not a common thing for users to do. So it's kind of just a level of sanity checking, a level of protection. I mean, it's not ironclad security, but it's generally speaking a pretty good idea to not allow those things by default. And no one can really turn it off for someone else. You have to, as a browser user, you have to turn it off yourself. So anyway, I'm not going to spend all day on cores. Let's go to the next test. Let's make sure we clean up here any sort of mess that I have left over. Okay. So we'll get rid of this. And all this stuff. Nope. Okay. And we got a nice thin startup here, and okay, good. All right, next test. The API route responds to a post with the to-do, which was posted to it. Okay, so right now it's got a hello world. So what I need, probably just take out this. I'm going to have another one. And this will be a post, because this is up here. Is this just a get by default? Maybe I can specify that just to be clear. Action result, and this will be new to do. I don't know, something like that. And there'll be a to do, which I haven't defined yet, and item, to do item, let's say. And I'll create this class. All right, and then the idea here is I think it's just going to respond with that item. I don't know what that to-do item consists of. We could look at the network here and see what the problem is. Oh, okay, there we go. It's telling us right here. It has to have a title, public string title. Okay. Refresh. Okay, there we go. So we're working. The API route responds successfully to a delete. So, all right. So there's going to be a delete method. So again, this is just going to be it all takes place in the root apparently. HTTP delete. public action result, delete to do, and I don't know what is supposed to actually supposed to do, or what input it's supposed to take. So let's just post that, and we'll try it here. Okay, test passed. After a, this is kind of a one way of going about TDD. Now, fortunately, all the tests have been written for me, so that's nice. But I'm just sort of implementing the very minimum to make the test pass. That's kind of one of the ideas behind TDD. Okay, after a delete, the API root responds to a get with a JSON representation of an empty array. Responds to a get with a JSON representation of an empty array after a delete. So this is, so I'm guessing it's just going to be like new list of to-do item. It doesn't even have to be that, but just empty list, which it's already responding. Okay, there we go. So these are prereqs, I guess. This is just get your website up and going, make sure cores is enabled, all that kind of stuff. So now we're going to hopefully get into some more interesting things. Storing new to-dos by posting to the root URL. Adds a new to-do to the list of to-dos at the root URL. Okay. So this is going to add a new to-do, and then the idea would be then getting it back out is going to return something. So at this point, we actually have to start using state. Expected array to have a length of 1, but got 0. Original method. Yeah, I'm not super clear about this, but let's look at the network here. Title bathe the cat. So it's sending a bathe the cat. Is that what's always sending? How did I find that? A to do. It's the one right after favicon. That's always the case. A to do. A to do. Okay, well, I think I actually have to start implementing state here. So let's, whoops. Let's get Couchbase involved. Docker start DB 650, whoops, DB 650 enterprise. Community edition would be totally fine for this type of really basic application. But I just happen to have this one ready, so we'll use this. Okay, and I'll create a bucket called to do. Just make this as minimal as possible. Okay. So what I think it wants is me to store this to-do item and then query it back out in the list. We'll see. All right. So, we could do this the really simple way and not use dependency injection, but I'm going to do that anyway. It's not going to take me that much more time. Couchbase extensions and dependency injection. Yep, there we go. This looks like a lot, but it's really giving us a lot kind of for free. So I'm adding the Couchbase SDK, I'm adding dependency injection to it. Services.add Couchbase, and I'm just going to hard code this. Let me see. What does this expect? Okay, client, new client, configuration. I think this is how it's supposed to work. When I use this, I usually don't hard code. But that's fine. 91. Okay, am I supposed... Okay, that's right. All right, return. Something like this. Ah. Return type is void. Huh? Oh, is it because x dot... Yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm not supposed to return it. I'm just supposed to... Client configuration is passed in and I set it. Okay, that's fine. And then while I'm at it, I can also say x dot username is administrator, x dot password equals password. Okay, that's it. And then over here in the constructor, I can just get a bucket. No, bucket provider. And then I can say bucket equals bucket provider dot get bucket, and I called it TODO, right? And now in my controller, I have access to this bucket object, so I can say bucket dot. Well, I guess I don't know. This is returning a list, so right here, bucket dot insert, and I don't know what this expects as far as identification. But I'll just go with what I think, and then we'll see how the test responds. Equals GUID, new GUID, toString, and then content equals item. No validation, we're just throwing it right in there. And then I'll just see what happens. This isn't going to work because, yeah. Adds a new to-do to the list of to-dos as a root URL. Okay, so this is supposed to then return all the to-dos. So this will be a query. Select star, I guess, from to-do. Just everything, right? Result equals query request dot query. No, dot create n1ql. This isn't the result, this is the query. And the result equals bucket dot query of to-do item query. And then this is just going to Haruhime. Hello. How are you? Thank you for joining me today. Good to see you. I saw the last time we raided, what was it? Instafluff. You both got along nicely. Okay, so this is going to fail because there's no index. Now, we could do that programmatically. Well, we might still do that, but let's go ahead and create primary index on to-do. Just make sure it's working. Yeah, Instafluff is fluffy cute. I feel like my daughter would really be into the whole Instafluff comfy thing. Whoa, what's that all about? How did I get 14 documents in there? Oh, okay. It's so fluffy I could die. Title is null. What happened here? Why did I not select title? What? Select star from to do. Is it? Oh, I bet it's just. Let's do this. T dot star. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Okay, and we'll just do this. All right, so now I've got a failing test that I had passed before. And my new test is not succeeding. Is this a NoSQL database? Of course it is, Haruhe. This is Couchbase. It is the NoSQL database. Yes, it is a NoSQL database, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to implement this TODO backend for this TODO backend website, which it's like a showcase all these different technologies and examples of building a to-do list with them. You never worked with it before. Well, you've been in this channel before. Maybe you just haven't been around for a Couchbase episode. I feel like I spend a lot of time talking about and using Couchbase in here. But yeah, it's possible you missed a few of those. But yeah, I work for Couchbase. Okay, after delete, API responds to a get with a JSON representation of an empty array. Because my delete isn't actually doing anything. That's why. So it's to deeply equal empty array. Interesting. So it's deleting it by the title? It's kind of strange, but okay. I could just make this, I don't know, we could just make this another nickel query. Delete from to-do t where t.title equals title. Query equals query request dot create. This may not be the best way to do this. I'd rather delete by a key, not the title, but I mean not the spec. So result is, oh, and I have to pass in parameter here, a named parameter, title. And I don't know, this is probably to-do item. And that'll be item.title. And one more thing, actually, for both of these, in fact, I should say scan consistency to request plus. And I can definitely talk more about what that means. Well, let's just see if we can get this to work, though. Gosh, I'm getting all kinds of errors now. I'm just making things worse. The input does not contain any JSON tokens. Okay, so it's not posting an item, it's just posting the title, or, you know, sending the title. Okay, all right. Let's delete API response with JSON empty array. That's an array of 19 things, though. Does it just expect the list to be empty every time? That doesn't really make sense to me either. Title. So there's several that have title called blah. So it's very confusing. What is actually being sent with the delete? Looking at the network over here. Patch. Network is what I'm looking for. And is there any way I can see the protocol? No, not protocol. Method. Yes, here's the delete. No, I don't see anything in the body here. Origin to do backend. Yeah. Is delete just supposed to delete everything? Is that what it's supposed to do? just delete everything? I guess that would make a little more sense. I don't know. It's going to be read-only. Okay, delete from TODO. Okay, so I'm starting with empty bucket here. Refresh. Did it actually? It didn't actually delete anything. What is going on? Delete. Oh, is that alias throwing it off? No, that's supposed to do it. Oh, I don't actually execute it. That would be probably important to do. Don't actually need any results there. But let's actually execute the query. That might be a good idea. Not just build the query, but actually execute it. Okay. Okay, I guess that's what it's supposed to do. Just delete everything. I don't know. Okay, well, all right. So we are making progress. All right, so sets up a new to-do as initially not completed. So there should be a property called completed. So why don't we go in here and make this a Boolean completed. Okay, and it's supposed to be initially not completed. And so in C# and .NET, Boolean is by default false. So that's kind of the behavior we already have. We might want to make this explicit. We could just say like this. So whenever you create a new item, it's completed by false, but I think I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Let's see what happens. Yay, something I already knew. The default value. Okay, another passing test. We're getting there. Okay, each to-do has a URL. So there should be a URL property. Okay, it's interesting. So we could make that a string, right? We could also make it a URI type. I don't know, let's just go with string for now. Call it URL. I'm not sure what that's going to accomplish, but let's see what happens. Expected null to be a string. Okay, so it's... So, I mean, what is it expected to be? Just a empty string by default instead of null? Because that is a default value of a string in .NET is null. Okay, passing. All right, each new to-do has a URL which returns a to-do. Okay, so this would probably be more like the ID. So, way we can go about this. Let me think about this. Insert a new item. And we give the item a URL. Something like this, item.url equals slash, and it'll just be another type of GUID. Which returns a to-do. And so that, which returns a to-do. And then that URL itself, we would have to have another endpoint here, basically. Which would be like ID. We'll just call it that. This will be a get, action result, get to do, and then string ID. And again, this feels like making this more complicated than it needs to be, but we'll make this a nickel query. Select star from to-do t where t dot, am I calling it URL? Yeah, URL equals URL. And query equals query request dot create in 1QL, and we'll add a named parameter URL, which will consist of slash plus ID. I think that's right. And then result equals, because they're all going to have unique IDs, all right? So result equals bucket dot query to do item from query, and then all we need is return okay result dot rows dot first or default. Why not? Okay. Okay, now looking here, these URLs don't seem to be being populated with anything. Why is that? Item.url equals. The new to do. Oh, well, I guess these are the old ones. I go back to here. Okay, so now they have a URL, right? So then what should happen is if I go here, that's returning. Okay. So this is saying failed because what? 403 forbidden, access denied? Huh? Why is it access denied? That's weird. Okay. We've got, can I just see the whole URL? No, I can't see that there. Oh, right here. To do backend. What? This should return the whole URL? Okay. I guess. So it wants the full, it wants to return the full URL. I'm just storing the relative URL. So when I store this, I mean, I can just, again, we'll just keep this simple and hard-coded here. But it would be this whole thing. You know, minus that part. Okay. Seems kind of awkward, but we'll try it. Okay. Okay, unexpected token U in JSON. That's a different error, so that's good. Well, that's a patch. I don't care about the patches. Why is the walk the dog completed full? Let me have a look here. The data. Yeah, these all should return something. Huh? I didn't like that one. Oh, because ID. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Gosh. All right. So this needs to be in here as well. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. It passed two tests. Can navigate from a list of to-dos to an individual to-do via URLs. Okay, because this is already returning with the list. Okay. All right. Good. Two passes. Two tests have passed that time. I think it might be time to consider a refactor, though, because I really don't like this. Because when I deploy this to a real site, that's gonna break, right? And I really don't like even storing the absolute URL. I'd rather have that return on the sort of return dynamically, whatever site this is running on. And the other thing I don't like is having to run a select query. This is only going to get one document every time. And that would make more sense to do a get operation instead of actually bringing in the query to this sort of thing. So I want to try to do a little refactoring. Select here is totally fine. This is returning the whole list, and we need a query for that. This is using a key-based operation to insert. And what I think I need to do is just need to consolidate these IDs. And so URL might not even be stored. It might just be a dynamic thing. So yeah, yeah, I'm not sure about that yet. Okay. All right. Okay. So new to do. So ID is going to be ID. Fine. I don't need to do that. Let's say right there. Okay. And then to get the to do back out, we know the ID. So I can't do any of this stuff. I'll just say doc equals bucket dot get, and I could make these asynchronous, by the way. We can refactor that later. To do item based on the ID. Let's just say, call this result, and then the doc itself. Just return result dot return OK of result dot value. Okay. Now the problem here is So I may need a second class, but because what I want to do is I don't want to store the ID twice up here and in the document. This makes up the URL though that needs to return. So let me think about this. So I have this ID. We'll just do this for now. I don't think I like this either, but let's say doc equals result. Result.value. We're going to return doc, but I want to say doc.url equals, and then this is going to be whatever plus ID. Now I want to make this more generic to get the name of whatever this is running on. So how do I get that in ASP.NET Core? Get host URL ASP.NET Core. It's probably like a request dot something. Hey, Taro Vara, thank you for the follow. Thanks for coming by, checking out this to-do list here. Something like this. Yeah, I think I just want to do a request. Do I have request? Request dot. Oh shoot, what was it? URI dot absolute. Get encoded URL. Request dot. Yeah, see, it's like broken it up. I really just want like the ASP.NET Core get current, like just the domain plus the schema, something like that. I don't want to have to put this all together, but I might have to. Scheme plus scheme delimiter plus host, and there's port number in there as well. Something like the following is tempting to resolve this. Accepted answer. Let's see. Get left part. What is that? Get left part. What is that? ASP.NET Core get left part. What does this do? Get left part sounds like a left outer join or something. It's so weird that like all these terms like schema, authority, path, and then they come up with left part. So let's see, what is this? What does it actually return? It shows a URI and the results of calling get left part with scheme, authority, path, or query. Gets a specified portion of a URI instance. URI partial specifies the end of the URI portion to return. Oh, okay. Interesting. Includes delimiters in the following cases. So I just want up into the port number. That's really all I want. How can I replace? Okay. Get components. Oh, that's interesting. Request dot URL. Wait, what? There is no request dot URL. I kind of want to just set a breakpoint here and see what's in there. See what's in request. This is maybe cheating, but I kind of want to just see this. And this is going to be in the get to do. Yeah, just passing this sort of thing right here. There's path prop. Thrundy. Hello, Thrundy. How are you? Request. You're saying that's just path, or that's part of request. So what we got here? Request dot query. No. So scheme. That's part of it, right? Here's host. So host includes the port number. So really all I need is scheme and host. Right, so if I did this down here, request.scheme, and something like this, request.host, and that's all I really need. Let's try that. I mean, it's not super elegant, but that should do it. So, Thrundy, I'm curious what you're talking about with path properties. I assume it's not that path. It's like for file names and stuff. Oh, path. There's a path of request to URI component. Well, I'm going to go with that for now. This doesn't feel great either, but let's just go with that. Delete. That just deletes everything, right? Okay. Yeah, I think that's all I need. Just see if this works. Delete everything out of there. Okay, so URL is not being saved. I don't expect it to be saved, but it's not being returned when I do the select query. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so that's the ID I want to use for the URL. I don't actually want to store the URL. But the problem here is this isn't actually doing anything. So we'll say meta.id. That's how we get the key there. And as URL. But once again, that's not the whole thing. See, I feel like this should be done inside this class here. This might just be the way I have to do it. Public GUID, string ID. And then the URL is just going to be, and I could put this logic in here. Although request isn't in that class. Is it? So I'd have to do something creative like, I don't know, request equals HTTP context. Oh, geez. How do I do that? HTTP context accessor. How do I pull HTTP context when I'm not in the controller? ASP.NET Core get HTTP context. .current. I didn't see a current on there. Well, here's a question. Context accessor. Oh, and you just pass it as a constructor. Ooh. See, because this becomes a lot more than just a simple DTO. Which might be what I have to do, right? So all I'm really storing is ID, title, and completed, and the URL I'm generating from the ID. And so there's sort of the model of data I want to store, and then there's a model of data I want to actually return from the endpoint. Two different things, right? So it's like a view. To do item view, and this could take as a to do item. I could even bring in HTTP request here in the constructor. Something like that. And this would have public string title, This can be private. There's no reason to expose that. Public string completed. I don't know if I need to explicitly do that. And then public string, oh, not string, this is Boolean. Public string URL, set something like this. So I could just say title equals item dot title, just a simple left-right mapping here. Completed equals item dot completed, and then URL would be like this up here. URL equals rec, and then item.id. Okay. Yeah, these aren't necessary. Those are implied. So this is what actually gets stored, kinda. So the way I can JSON. Oh, how do you ignore JSON serialization? Let's see. JSON ignore property when serializing. Just JSON ignore, I guess. Because I don't want to store this in the actual document. Okay. So to-do item view. So whenever I return something, it's going to be a to-do item view. Views equals result.rows, not select, new to-do item view. It doesn't like this. Oh. So I have to put in a request there. Okay, I don't know. All right, and then when I'm getting the to-do, again, similar sort of thing. New to-do item view with the item and request. Okay, and then just the JSON ignore part I'm not sure about. Let's see what happens here. Okay, delete all these out of here. All right, run the specs. Okay, now what happens? What ends up in there? That looks right. They're all the same title, though. That's a little strange. Title blah. Each new to-do has a URL. Oh, so it's not, something's not returning the URL here. Oh, this one right here? Oh. No, that just shouldn't matter. This is actually a red herring. Get to do returns new to do item which has a URL. Should have a URL. This one, oh, this is not. To do view of item and request. Is that going to work? ID item. Yeah. So this is kind of one of the problems here. Is it's going to have to store. What doesn't like about this? ToString. Yeah, this is where I'm not super happy with this. Oh, no, this is... Yeah, this is where that JSON ignore should come into play. We'll see that actually happens. Okay, delete everything. Run the specs. Got some passing specs. Good. What's in here? Oh, okay. This is working exactly how I wanted it to. Okay, terrific. All right. Boom, we're making progress. This is a quick time check here. You didn't think a to-do list would take this long, huh? So we've got the first two sections done, the prerequisites and storing new to-dos by posting to the root URL. So let's check out this code here, clean up some of this leftover junk. Yeah, we don't need that. That's fine. Do I even need the type here? It's not a search query. Is there like an execute? Because I don't actually want to return anything. It's not a big deal if there's not. Mini Wheats with a subscription. What's going on? Looking forward to lunch when come to the area. Lunch might be tough because I will be up in Redmond for most of the day when the summit's happening. I will be landing at SeaTac at around late lunchtime. We're landing at the airport around 1 p.m. the week of the summit on Sunday. I definitely want to hang out with you while I'm out there, man. In the evening might be a little easier to do. So anyway, I'll be up there. I'll be landing March 15th, and I'll be flying out Thursday, March 19th. So yes, definitely, we should get some dinner or something in Bellevue or even downtown Seattle. Because you're not in Tacoma, are you? You're somewhere else, right? I can't remember. But yeah, definitely we will do that. I might want to set myself a reminder, in fact, to do that. You work in Seattle, so you'll be there. Oh, great, that's fine. So I'll be in Redmond, which I'll be staying in Bellevue, but I can take an Uber or something over to downtown Seattle. Should be no problem. Money for dinner with Mini Wheats at MVP Summit. Yeah, so just let me know, because Sunday evening. There's always evening activities with this conference, but should we get away for dinner or drinks or something? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night. Pick one of those. And the other thing is, I don't know if my brother's going to be in town during that time either, so we may just all go. I don't know. My brother and his fiancée. Don't know what their plans are. So anyway, yeah, definitely. I'll be out there. And we'll do something. Get dinner, get drinks, or whatever. It'll be great. I can't remember the last time I've seen you in person, dude. It's been a long, long time. Mini Wheats and I go back a long way. We used to go to school together, work together, all kinds of crazy stuff. So thanks for the subscription. I appreciate it. Okay, where was I? Let me just check my time here. I've got at least another 45 minutes on the clock available. I want to see if I can go over it all or not. No, I don't have anything scheduled directly after this, so if we go over a little bit, that'll be fine. All right, working with an existing to-do. So you can navigate from a list of to-dos to an individual to-do via URLs. Oh, see, I thought I had that passing, actually. So this is... Why isn't that working? Assertion error. Expected array of 2 to have a property title. Which endpoint does not have a property title? Individual to do. Oh, that URL is wrong. For one. Yeah, that's interesting. It's not the full URL for some reason. Okay. Something's not returning what it should be returning. This is trying to pull the ID. Oh, but there isn't. Okay. No, there should be, because I'm saying meta ID. So this query should still return the ID. So there it is. ID completed. Title. Yeah. And so that should return there, and that should be a list of those items. And then I'm parsing them all through this, which should construct the URL. And so, yeah, but the URL does not seem to be happening there. What is the problem? Why aren't you doing this? Item.id. Oh, because it's ignoring it on the way out too. I like to ignore it when we're serializing, but not when we're deserializing. Does that make sense? Is that a possibility? JSON ignore when serializing, but not when deserializing. Word. It is possible? JSON. So this is some weird. This is Java or something. I don't know about this. Use JSON. Ignore attribute only on serialization, but not when do. You're just saying word for no reason. All right then. Let's see. Use JSON ignore when serializing. Yes, but not when deserializing. Okay. I don't know how to achieve this. Use the should serialize feature. .net. So basically your class will look like what in the world? Class should look like this. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, but should serialize is interesting. Okay, here's one. Let's look at this. We have some configuration files. So make a property deserialize but not serialize. No, I want the opposite of that. I want it to be serialized, but let's just see. This might be the right approach. Let's see. Add a should serialize method. Has the ability to conditionally serialize properties by looking for corresponding should serialize methods in a class. Oh, okay. Interesting. So it's a convention. Clever use of so there's other options here. JObject. I don't know if I want to do that. I can just remove it. With my new job at Amazon, it was suggested I learn Python, so I started earlier this week. Watching you code always reminds me of a long way to go. Hey, when it comes to Python, we're in the same boat. I have barely touched any of it. So if you're looking for someone to teach you some Python, you could find a streamer. I don't know if anyone on my team actually does any Python, but definitely check this out. Awesome Developer Stream. This is GitHub/BNB, Awesome Developer Streams, and just do Control F there and search someone who's doing Python. So let's see if I recognize any of these people who are streaming Python. Let's see. None of these names are jumping out at me, but you see a lot of people there are using Python. Randall Hunt sounds kind of familiar for some reason. Anywho, if you're looking for Clark, here's a series a while back. Might still be doing it. I don't see him on here. Why isn't he on this list? He's on my team, though. Pretty sure about that. Let's see. Clark. Where are you, Clark? There he is. Clarkio. Right there. This guy is, I think, yeah, right here. So I don't know, you might want to check this guy out, subscribe to this guy, or not subscribe. I mean, yes, subscribe, but follow at least. See if you like his stream. See if he's doing any Python stuff. And there you go. So thank you for the recommendation, Calvin. So I want to check out this whole thing. I'm kind of curious because I don't know if I've done this before. This convention-based should serialize. Is there also a should not serialize? Or should not serialize, should deserialize, should not deserialize. I'm just curious about that. Should serialize property, should deserialize. Okay. All right. Public bool should serialize ID. Return false. Should, what's the other one? Should deserialize. Return true. There might be a way to write these a little, even a little shorter. Why is this? Is never used, but this one says it it is used. What? Should deserialize property. Did I spell it wrong? I don't know what's going on there, but let's see if that works. I don't have to inherit anything for that. Okay. Let's give it a shot. That's pretty cool. Something new that I learned today, if that in fact is working. We're going to delete everything from here. Yep. Okay, and run this guy. I think that worked. So if I go back to here, look at that. That is incredible. Wow, that's really cool. I learned something new. That is actually a very helpful tool in sort of creating models. Did you solve Couchbase? Can I shorten this down with some of the new syntax? I think that's a possibility. Yep. Is that JSON.NET or the new one? So Couchbase is still using JSON.NET. It's still using Newtonsoft. So that's, I haven't added any other libraries in here. This is all Newtonsoft. That's pretty cool. And this with this new syntax here, this is really nice. I'm quite happy. Hey, and Rhyme, thanks for stopping in. I think this is your first time chatting today. Good to see you. Thanks for coming into my stream. Appreciate it. Working on a to-do list today, trying to get all these tests to pass. This is from todobackend.com. And we got a ways to go still, but we're making progress. The next thing is a patch. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put us on a little bit of a break. I have to take a quick bio break. I will be, oh, you're here, 2 Symfony streams. Right, but your first time seeing you here today. So thanks for stopping in. One Symfony stream was good, one Symfony stream not so good. But that was what I did last week. So anyway, I'm going to put us on a quick break, and I will be back in less than a couple minutes. All right, I'm back. See, there's some chat. We need to get some symphony synergy. No need to change to Laravel. Yeah, maybe that's what I should do. Is I should tackle Laravel. But the problem I was having was not really Symfony or Laravel. I think they're both pretty cool. The problem I was having was getting the PHP Couchbase PHP SDK installed. And Calvin promised he was going to solve that problem, but he hasn't yet. Really slacking there, Calvin. I'll revisit that at some point. But even though we were unsuccessful, that was still a useful video because it's something I'm going to use internally now to show maybe some gaps either in my knowledge or documentation or both. So, all right, let's keep going here. Can change the to-dos title by patching to the to-dos URL. Okay, so yeah, patch is not allowed, so I don't have an actual patch. Let's just create another one here. So this will be route, and again, this will be ID. And this will just be a patch. And I'm kind of curious, what is actually being sent? Just the title? Just the title. Laravel is more elegant. Well, I mean, you get into subjective territory there. No, we need the ID as well. ID title. Well, let's just try this. Let's try to-do item. I mean, I found for one thing, I'm a Windows developer, which is maybe a little odd in the PHP world, a little bit of an outlier. But I found the Getting Started guide with Symfony to be a lot more, I'm not quite sure what the word I'm looking for here, but everything I needed was in the box there for Symfony. The CLI with Symfony that spun up the web server and all that kind of stuff. It all came in one package. And with Laravel, I had to figure out how to install XAMPP and how to configure Apache and stuff like that, which are things you'd probably have to do anyway with Symfony. But just getting started, the process was a little easier for me to get up and running. And then, I haven't dug into this much detail, but I found the coding process to be, roughly similar, right? It's still controllers and templates and that kind of stuff. We don't do subjective, only objective perspective while we have a retrospective. Killing me, Calvin. All right, so I don't know. This is going to be something like this. It's going to sound like a body to a patch. Also, Laravel does not have starter tutorial like Symfony, but Laravel got dedicated forum with hundreds of video tutorials. Well, I mean, there's no question Laravel is popular, and is popular for a reason, right? So, there's got to be some good stuff there. But this is just my sort of very shallow, just follow the instruction, the quick start guide. But I don't have a deep enough knowledge of either to say, yeah, I definitely prefer Laravel because of this, or I definitely prefer Symfony because of this. I don't have enough experience to say one way or the other. So at this point, they're both pretty cool. And so actually, if I go back a little farther, before Laravel was even around, I think, I was really into Cake PHP. I was a Cake PHP guy for a long time. I think Cake PHP is still around. I know Symfony's been around for a long time, too. So, yeah. Anyway, change to do. Okay, so we're going to change the title based on the URL that's been given. So, what I can actually do here, this is actually pretty cool. So, assuming I have that item, or the ID correct, which we don't know yet, we're going to do a bucket mutate in to do item. And the ID, he passed here, and, yep, And so we're going to then upsert. We could do a replace. I think we'll just do an upsert. Upsert title with the item.title. So this is actually called a sub document. So we're not going to update the whole entire document. We're just going to update one piece, the title. Which, for this example, is not super important because they're really tiny documents anyway. So execute. Turn OK. All right, so let's see what happens. Okay, so it did not work, and let's try to figure out why. Unexpected end of JSON input. I don't know what that is. We'll go back to the network here and try this again. So when I did a patch, bathe the cat, that actually worked, right? Oh, these titles are null. So maybe, yeah, I think it's probably time to do a breakpoint here. See what the heck is going on with this patch. Okay. And then we'll go back to here, run these tests. Okay, so we got the ID. That looks good. Item coming in. It's title. Yeah, it's there. Okay. Yeah, that looks fine. It is title though, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, title. So why is it... Did I skip something? Oh, there's Bathe the Cat. Okay. Completed false. So, so now it's null. Why is it passing a null this time? Yeah, work the timeout there. That's fine. It's like it's sending a null. Like it works here. To do the first, okay. And there's actually no data here. Why is that? Is that just supposed to clear out the title? But I mean, that's what it's doing, so. Title Bathe the Cat. And this one is failing. Why is it failing? Well, then this might be a place where I bring in Postman as well. Let's see what the heck is going on. Because it seems like the patch is working. Oh, that response doesn't look right. Doesn't look right at all. Response. Title. Oh, it's a GET. Why isn't that GET returning the URL? Okay, I think definitely it's time to use some Postman. Here's Postman. Okay, so Postman. Hey, Mr. Postman. Okay, so there's my GET request. No, Postman. And then I can just do a GET for this guy here. Okay, now why isn't that returning an ID? That is frustrating. And it's even more frustrating that it didn't make the test fail. Bucket get to do. See, I thought this was supposed to deserialize. Oh, but yeah. Okay. Doc.id equals ID. Hello, Mr. Postman. Show me where my packets are. What doesn't like this? Oh, because I'm running an application. Hi, Mr. Postman. For me, there's a letter from. How's that song go? Okay. All right, so that's okay. So let's see what happens now. Hey, Mr. Postman, look and see. Is there a letter for me? All right. So now let's see what's wrong with this patch. We're going to do a little patch here. And the payload is going to be some JSON. Maybe. Can I copy this? View source. Change the title. Body. I don't know. Raw JSON, I guess. 200. Hey, Mr. Postman. Okay. And that should be over here. Not working. Why is that? Attach a breakpoint. When in doubt, attach a breakpoint. That's my philosophy. There's the title. Hey, Mr. Postman. EF5B, etc., etc. Oh, I don't see that. I don't see that ID anywhere. E4C7 ends with E4C7. I don't see it in there. All right, let's try this. Maybe it's some old junk data. Okay. Hey, Mr. Postman, look and see if there's a letter for me. Am I gonna get DMCA'd for singing that song? Why doesn't it like it? It's so weird because it looks like it's working, but then ends up with these title null. Can change the TODO's title by patching the TODO's URL, and it's could not parse JSON. It's not getting any response there. What? Any of these patches get a response? Oh, crud. Patch. I kind of wish it showed me the URL I was trying to trying to parse here, or that was getting a response from. Can change the to-do's title by patching the to-do's URL. Can I go look this up somewhere? Create fresh to-do and get its URL, initial title, then change it to bathe the cat, then expect it to have bathe the cat. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Then bathe the cat. Then it should have bathe the cat. So it seems like this change is not actually working. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, I know this doesn't exist. Okay, I don't know, post and body raw JSON title Haruhime completed false. Okay, then if I open that, there it is. Okay, and then if I go and yes, I'm updating you. I'm going to patch you now. Patch body raw JSON. So I'm going to change it to Calvin now. And if I just go and look over here in this data, there you are, right there. 17FF, etc., etc. Yeah. Okay. Patch. There it goes. Retrieve. Calvin. Fine. Is this supposed to return something, maybe? If I go here again, there's Calvin. Yeah. Patch that MVC stuff in my head. Is the patch supposed to return the object? That might explain what's going on here. So what is actually the result of this? It's a document fragment. So if I'm supposed to return the whole thing, I don't know. Let's just see if this is what the problem is. Bucket.get to do item of ID, and then return new to do item view of doc.value. What is the problem here? Oh, request. Okay, that's what it was. So it's supposed to return as well. You know, this is working okay, but this to-do item view thing, I'm not a super huge fan of it. Maybe there's a way to sort of combine these. Now that I know how this serialized stuff works. I have to think about that some more. Simplify this into one class instead of two, because now I have to kind of remember, okay, to-do item is how I store it, and you know, maybe this is okay, like if I want to have a repository layer, and I never return my actual raw data items. I always return views, but I don't know. Seems like I should be able to combine those. All right, how are we doing now? Next test, can change to-do's completedness by patching to the to-do's URL. So it's the same thing as before, right? Let me just do this, right? Completed, item dot completed. The thing is, though, I don't necessarily want to, I don't necessarily want to update title every time. I don't necessarily update completed every time. Should it only do that based on whether it's set or not, or whether it's actually passed. Let's see. What's the network look like here? Doing a lot more Chrome today than I expected. Okay. So like patch here, patch here. See, it's just completed is true. So I really only want to do items. That's always going to be yeah, so this is something to think about here now, because it might just be passed. So the request might be passed in, might just have completed equals true or false. And I don't want to overwrite title with null if title's not passed in. And then same on the other side of the coin, if maybe just title's passed in and not completed, I don't want to update completed, because that's going to be false by default. So I could make this nullable, but now it's now the default value is null, which means if I'm creating a new one, item.completed equals false. Really, the only thing I'm getting here is the title. Okay, and now over here, what I could do is I can just say expression like this. I don't know if expression is the right term, but we say if item dot completed has value, then expression equals expression dot this part here. Like say if item dot title dot has, well, it's not has value, right? If string dot it's not null or empty, then again we'll just say expression equals expression, this part right here, and then finally we'll just say expression dot execute. So we're sort of building it up. We're saying, all right, I'm going to mutate something in this document. If completed has a value, then we're going to update completed. If title has a value, then we're going to update title. And it could be the case that both are happening. And at the end, we're going to execute that expression. And then after that, we'll go ahead and get the item back out and return it. So let's see if this. Oh, okay. So it broke something else. All right. So it's always going to be the case when there's a view that this is going to have a value. I think that's safe to say, but just in case, we'll put a little null coalesce in there. Okay. Let's see what it breaks. Oh, okay. Well, that everything's passing, and that test I was working on is passing. Well, okay. Changes to a to-do are persisted and show up when refetching the to-do. Refetching that to-do. So expected an array of 1 to have a property completed. Why is it returning an array of something? The only thing that should be returning an array would be up here. But it's trying to find completed, and it doesn't look like there is a completed. Why is that returning an array? Oh, that's a get. That should return an array. That should not. Changes to a to-do are persisted and show up when refetching the to-do. Let's just see what that looks like. Go back to the spec again. So, this is a complicated one, but all right. So first thing we do is create a new to-do, get its URL, then patch it with a change title. I don't really like the way this test is written. Patch to do. Well, no, maybe it's fine. I'm just not used to this kind of style, I guess. All right, so create a to do and then update it. All right, and then we have the patch to do. Verify it. Then verify to-dos property, that it's completed, and change title. Okay. And then get the list. So get root, expect it to have length of 1, and verify to-dos properties. To-do list of 1. So that should work. Pretty sure that's what I'm doing. Yeah, fine, whatever. Okay. Let's walk through this. We'll still do everything, right? Yep. This will be the last, well, we're getting close to the end here of the stream today. This has been really fun, though. We're not even halfway, well, we're about halfway through, I guess. How many we got? We've got 11 passing tests. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more. Okay, so we're more than halfway through. We got 5 more tests we got to make pass. So I'm gonna just save this for the next for next week. Next Tuesday, we'll revisit this and see if we can get the rest of these tests to pass. This has been a real learning experience for me. I've definitely learned something new about JSON with this stuff here. That's a pretty cool trick. I'm gonna have to remember that because this kind of thing comes up a lot with NoSQL databases. Some fields you want to serialize and some you don't, and different contexts. So that's a very helpful little thing there. I should have known that Newtonsoft would have that. Anyway, let's go look at the rest of the team and see who we can raid. C# Fritz, raided him once or twice last week, actually. A lot of luck, so looks like not many people here. I want to do someone a little new. I want to keep him. I'm gonna mix it up. So let's just go with Code Rushed. Looks like he's doing undo redo with the command design pattern. That's some pretty cool stuff. Something I've used PostSharp for in the past. So we'll go over there and raid Code Rushed. If you're a subscriber, make sure to use this special Calvin head bada bing bada boom. And you can sort of copy and paste that part. Otherwise, just hit emoji of your choice and let Code Rushed hear it that we're raiding, and be nice over there and have fun. And I'll see you over there. I'll hang up for a little bit. Then I gotta get to lunch. But thanks for joining me today, and I will be back a week from today. I think 10 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. I will not be here on Thursday. My normal stream I'll be in the Bay Area. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you later.